Good evening and welcome to the May 4th, 2016 meeting of the Gaithersburg Planning Commission. First up is the approval of our minutes from April 20th, 2016. And I'll note that I think Matt Hopkins, you were out that night?
That's right.
Okay, so is there a motion, please, for this?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of April 20th, 2016 as read into the record.
Second.
So moved and second, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstained.
Abstained.
401. Okay, thanks very much. Next up is we have a record plat tonight, right? Kurt, you gonna do that? Okay.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is RP-7167-2015, and it's also known as Diamond Elementary School. So this is the plat for them, and it's ready for your approval.
All right, very good. Any questions? All right, a motion on the plat agenda, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the plat as read into the record by staff.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. We'll sign it later, I guess. All right, that takes us to our sign permit agenda. First up tonight is sign-10877-2016 and sign-10878-2016 Urban Crawfish Cajun Seafood and Bar signage at 670 Quince Orchard Road in the C2 zone. And this is for an icon sign. Presenting from staff is Jasmine Forums. Good evening.
Good evening. This application is for Urban Crawfish Cajun Seafood and Bar signage located at 670 Quince Orchard Road. The application comes before a planning commission because the proposed signs contain an image of a crawfish, which is considered an icon sign. Icon signs require planning commission approval per section 24-212J of the city sign ordinance. So there's going to be two signs. Sign 10877 is going to be located at the main entrance parking lot facing Quince Orchard Road, and sign 10878 is going to face the side entrance on Clapper Road. Both signs are going to be 56 square feet with internally lit letters on a black pan box. The signs will incorporate the name and of the business and the crawfish image. There was no sign package approved for the Quince Orchard Plaza, but the signs are consistent within the shopping center, and the signs have been approved by the property owner.
All right.
So I have a couple of renderings. So this is what the main entrance is going to look like, and then this is the side entrance.
Sizes all comply with
Yep.
by right square
Yes.
footage. So. All right, very good. Any questions for Jasmine?
No
Any
questions.
concerns with the icon?
No,
I mean,
just glad.
outside of my own species, I can't think of anything prettier than a crawfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miriam, just note that Matt was in favor of the.
That species was in favor.
All right, is there anyone in the audience that is here to talk about this application tonight? Okay. So seeing no one, Jasmine, what's your recommendation, please?
So the staff recommends approval of sign -10877 and sign 10878-2016 based in the exhibit submitted, and the staff report finding it in compliance with section 24-212 of the city sign ordinance.
Okay. Yeah, I know we had the icon criteria in our ordinance to, I guess, make sure we didn't see anything that was completely off base, but this seems perfectly in line with the business and with the scale of the store, and
It's actually integrated into the text. It's all the things we asked for.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool. A well-designed piece of software.
Well composed, all that.
Mhm.
So if there are no concerns, is there a motion, please?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Anybody?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the grant sign 10877-2016 and sign 10878-2016, finding it to be in compliance with section 24-212 of the city code.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks very much. Jasmine, you have the next one too, right?
Mhm.
Why don't you go ahead and just read it into the record while you're sitting there, if you don't mind.
So this application is for the Lemon Polo a la Brasa, pronouncing that right, signage located at 74 Bro Drive within the Diamond Square Shopping Center. Similar to the last application, this application comes before the Planning Commission because the proposed signs contains an image of an icon, and the icon is a chicken and a stylized lemon. So there's going to be two signs. Sign 1 is going to be facing the main parking lot, and then sign 2 is going to face the side of the building. There's an existing sign on that side of the building, but they're going to plan to remove it, so it's no longer be there. So the main entrance sign, it's going to be 60 square foot channel letter on a black aluminum background. And this is going to be the side signage. It's going to be just channel letters. The shopping center didn't have an approved sign package, but the signage is consistent with the rest of the shopping center, and property owner has reviewed and approved the signage for the shopping center.
Great. Any questions? See anything subliminal in the chicken? Just asking. Okay.
Yeah, that chicken was a little shady.
All right. Anybody here in the audience to speak on this application? Okay. Jasmine, the recommendation, please.
So staff recommends approval of sign -10940 and sign -10941-2016 based in the exhibit submitted and the staff report finding it compliance with section 24-212 of the city sign ordinance.
Great, thanks. Well, I think, again, this is well integrated and appropriate for the business.
Yeah, it's well done.
No concerns. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve sign 10940-2016 and sign 10941-2016, finding it to be in compliance with section 24-212 of the city code.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you.
I think you spent all of about 5 minutes there.
Two things, 4 signs.
All right, very good. That takes us to our site plan agenda, and there is one item tonight, and that's AFP-7290-2016, the Berry Residence at 227 Ken Oaks Way, and the MXD zone. This is to add a second floor to the garage. This is an amendment to final site plan, and presenting from staff is Kirk Eby. Good evening, Kirk.
Good
Again.
evening. As you mentioned, this is an amendment final site plan to add a second floor to a detached garage at 227 Ken Oaks Way in the Kentlands. This application comes before the Planning Commission under Section 24-172A as an amendment final site plan, and it's because it adds onto a previously approved building. Normally, these items would be on a consent agenda, but we did receive a phone call from an adjacent or from a nearby neighbor with some concerns, so we decided to put it on the regular agenda, just in case that anyone wanted, from the public wanted to speak on the matter. So I do have the map up here, but actually, let me just go right to the
Kirk,
nice elevations.
were there specific concerns, or that you want to
The
address, or-
concerns are addressed in the conditions that we've included, or the staff has
Perfect.
included. And so when we get to that, I can read those into the record as well.
Okay.
And the applicant, Pamela Berry, is here, as is a representative from Talon Construction, who's actually going to build it. If
Okay,
you have
great.
any questions for them.
And I actually was asking Ruth Zally this earlier because I know she's in the neighborhood. This already has gone through a town architect review
Correct.
and historic trust review, right, with favorable.
Yes, and
comments.
in the record, exhibit number 7 is the approval letter from the Kentlands Homeowner Association.
Okay.
Yeah, just a note of disclosure, I serve as the Kentlands Historic District member, so I have reviewed this application in an architectural context.
Very good. Okay, so is there anyone here in the audience who is, or do you want to present more of it first?
That's all I have. to
Okay.
present.
Anyone here to speak about this? Or talk? No? Okay. All right. So Kirk, recommendation, please.
Okay, so staff recommends that the Planning Commission, based on the exhibit submitted, the staff report, staff findings, and staff recommendation, grant amendment to final site plan approval AFP-7290-2016, the Berry Residence Garage Addition, finding it in compliance with sections 24-160D.1 through 24-160D.13, also known as the MXD zone, and section 24-172A of the city code with the following 3 conditions. So number 1, the construction must minimize the impact of noise and dust to adjacent properties. Number 2, the construction must not block the travel way of the alley. Both of those conditions are addressing the concerns that we received via
Okay.
phone. And then the third condition is prior to issuance of the building permit, the applicant must obtain a permit from WSSC for the proposed plumbing in the garage. And that's just because there's no plumbing there now, as far as we can tell. So.
Sure, okay. And just from an MXD, I'm not going to use the word accessory, but just in terms of this particular project, it doesn't matter that the use right now is not necessarily as a dwelling unit, it's a studio or whatever it is. It could be either under the same approval?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, tonight you are approving it as an accessory space,
Right.
essentially. So
Right.
if the owner wanted to later turn it into a dwelling unit, we would bring that back for
Oh, it would have to come back?
approval. Yes,
Okay.
because we've been bringing the dwelling units, because again, under the minor amendment process, it doesn't really allow staff to add dwelling units per se.
Okay.
So we do bring those back, usually as consent items as well.
Okay, very good. Do you have, I'm trying to remember in the packet, there was an aerial, right?
Yes.
Of the site. Would you mind putting that up? And the reason I'm asking you to do that is just to have a quick discussion among the commissioners about the first two conditions for reference.
Sure.
So maybe you could zoom in a little bit, and
Sure.
just to be clear about the adjacencies and sort of scale of things.
So this is the garage as it exists, and of course the footprint's really not changing much. They are putting a small covered area over the deck, and it'll wrap around, and there'll be some stairs here. It is close to the alley, which is right here, and
But it looks like there's well, I won't say it looks like it, I've been by there a few times. There's a yard there to stage materials and things, so
Mhm.
it's easy to imagine not having to
Correct.
impede the alley.
correct. So the construction staging area could happen in this area,
Okay.
as you pointed out.
All right. And everything else, I think, is going to depend on good workmanship and good management on site for things
Correct.
like noise.
Correct,
dust.
and traditionally, we wouldn't put those types of conditions on because they're sort of implied with your approval,
Yep.
but because we had a specific concern for those, we added those.
Well, just stay close, just have staff stay close to it and make sure that things are going as.
And they need to follow, I mean, the city ordinance is about how much noise you can make, like, early. I think it's like 7 or something like that,
There
right?
is, correct.
So they have to
I-
follow that.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
on
Yes.
Sundays, it's
Yeah,
9.
yeah, so,
I think the weekends it's not.
right,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other concerns, questions?
Just from a planning standpoint, obviously, we're still encouraging, I know we've approved a number by consent agenda of accessory apartments or additional space for the houses within the same footprint, within the same property. I think it's a great way to add usable space within an existing community. Once a community is a success, we can almost celebrate that by the expansion of usable space within that existing community. So
Yeah.
it's a great planning concept.
Very good. All right, any other comments? All right, if not, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Yes, Frank.
If before a motion, my attorney moment, we do want to make sure to say, based on the staff report and the findings therein, just to make sure that's all included within.
Okay.
Just my attorney.
Okay.
moment.
Whatever you want,
Read-
Frank. Motions, then let's
And not to say it's not helpful for the, if we ever were challenged, just says, oh, so the attorney directed them? And we even have whatever say, okay, if you say so.
And to be clear, Frank, you're not asking for anything more than what's in the
What- yeah,
recommendation.
right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
very good.
Really just clarity, that's
Yeah.
all.
All right, thank you, Frank. Anything else? All right, is there a motion, please?
Based on the exhibit submitted, the applicant's testimony, the staff reports, staff findings, and staff recommendations, I move that we grant amendment to final plan approval for AFP -7290-2016, finding it in compliance with sections 24-160D, period 1 through 24-160D, period 13, MXD zone, and section 24-172A of the city code with the 3 conditions read into the record.
Second.
So moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously, thanks very much, good luck with the project.
Yes.
It's going to be a nice addition to the neighborhood, I think. All right, that takes us to from the commission. Matt, may I start with you, please? Nothing? Lloyd?
Nothing.
Just a little something. I was privileged to
Miss
go.
Sally?
I was privileged to go to the APA conference in Phoenix, and it was fantastic. I had a great time. I was in great company. I got to see something I've always wanted to see, and that's Taliesin West.
Oh,
And so I brought everybody back a little brochure and an opportunity to give to Taliesin West. So please pass along.
okay, all right.
And I have lots of photos. I'm going to share them with the director so he can, share them with everybody. But it was really a great conference. It's always great to go, and I'm sure that you'll get an opportunity to go next year or sometime, and it's always a nice time. So
what one thing should we do here in the city from what you saw?
well, there was some stuff they were talking about, like future stuff, and that's something I do want to share with you, and I will share something with you all about that, about future trends in building and planning and that kind of thing. And there's some really, really good
Great.
ideas about that, and how millennials live. They want to live real, real
Efficient.
close, real efficient, real.
They also want
this
light rail.
Right. But they want small. They don't want these big sprawling houses as much, and so there's a lot of stuff there that I took away from that.
Great,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, do come back with some of the
Yeah,
ideas.
I will do that. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you.
Miss Sally?
I'm good.
All right. Where should we go on staff here? Who's up?
I'll start.
Okay.
Just real quick, update on the planning awards.
Mhm.
You should see forms soon. We had a computer blow up, and so Jasmine has been working on that. She was out of commission on her computer for a couple of days, so, and we had some other things that crept in as well. So you should see forms soon, and then we'll get it ready and up on the website as soon as you guys give us the go-ahead via
Okay, good.
email. So, and then
Actually, real quick, did anybody have any comments on the
No.
brief outline?
No, it's
Okay.
nice.
So keep an eye out for the nomination packet, and we'll go from there. Thanks.
And then just to let you know that several staff will be attending the Makeover Montgomery Planning Conference in Silver Spring the next couple days, and hope to bring back some good ideas from the county and the region. So that's about all I have, Trudy.
Very good.
Our next meeting is May 18th. So far, we have 2 items on the agenda. And then the meeting after that is June 1st, and we do have, note that Mr. Kaufman will be out at that meeting, so.
We'll miss you.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
I'll miss you guys.
All right, thanks. Trudy, or Marty, what can we anticipate for some of the next steps on the master planning, the 2 sections of the master plan that we did some of the kickoff meetings for? Any idea how that's tracking?
Rob is meeting with Parks and Rec and Culture tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
So they're moving along. They're getting some things in draft format, and they'll have some stuff to show fairly quickly. I don't know what his plan exactly is for bringing that back to the commission, but and then the historic preservation plan, we've been working on an outline for that one. That one's a few steps behind. So.
Okay. So I'm just thinking, we won't have too many special meetings or any kind of joint things for a while. Yeah.
I don't think we're planning on anything. Probably the end of the summer is the next time we'll bring you
Okay.
folks back into
Okay.
anything. I know that in the Parks and Rec plan, they are planning a public meeting. I don't know when that will happen. I don't think they've scheduled it yet, but we will let you know
Yeah.
when that's going to happen, and that would be a great thing to show up and kind of see what people are saying. And
Good. All right.
so.
Sounds good. All right, anything else? Mike?
Well, I will,
Oh, good.
you know, do have something. So
things
the
tonight.
second thing, yeah. 2 things. You all had asked about, because there had been some discussion about the, actually it was the alcoholic beverage board restriction where if there was a church, or as it turns out, a school,
Mhm.
there could not be a place distributing alcoholic beverages or drinks within 750 feet. That was a local bill. It was introduced, and it did end up getting passed and was signed by the governor on April 26th. It did take something of a challenge to find, because I saw an indication that it passed, but I like to look at the specific language because, well, I am that way. And Well, that's right. And to find the specific language, well, I could pull up the bill and it said, well, it's changing what's known as the alcoholic beverages article. Well, as you may know, Montgomery County, not the Montgomery County, the Maryland Code used to be by numbers. For instance, Article 66B used to be the planning article, which is now the land use article. So they decided to change that of numbers. I guess that was, well, too complicated, and go to the name so that way you could see what it was. Well, the alcoholic beverages article creation as codification apparently was part of this year, one of the last ones done. So the current law is still in what's known as Article 2B. But the amendment is to the alcoholic beverages article, which is not yet in existence. So trying to track exactly the change was something of a challenge. However, it is clear enough that
That's the question. That is the question. To be or not to be is the question.
I'm just impressed he figured that out, because I didn't give it up. It's not here.
Frank was having fun.
well, we did, but it's
Picture reverse.
and the amendment is actually eliminating existing language. So if you're looking at it and not paying attention, you'd say, well, it looks like everything's been taken out, but that is the amendment. It's not
Taken
adding
out of
language,
something,
it's
it's all the
taking
language
out.
is taken out of something that's not there.
Right. If you look at it, it's all crossouts.
Great.
So in any event, that was passed.
Well, what's
and
the
as I said,
upshot
was
then?
signed.
what do we do?
What are we left with?
What we're left with, actually, it doesn't so much change our judgment. The restriction that's been removed is that we don't have to worry about the fact that if in a shopping center, if we have a church, then that there would be necessarily a limitation on having another restaurant establishment that serves alcohol or something like that.
Okay.
And there was some discussion
Sure.
about possible zoning changes that might have impacted a shopping center, and that would have been a consideration. Again, the decision, it would have been the liquor board saying, no, that's not going to happen, but nonetheless, it would have been something that you would have to weigh in deciding whether to allow a church in an area. Because then what would have happened, the restaurant use, even if it's within the 750 feet, becomes non-conforming. While that's allowed under some circumstances in the city, it does raise some question and certainly would prevent anything else from coming in. So it certainly was a positive.
Is there restrictions around
Did
it?
it change the school distance too?
Yeah, they did school and on the 750 feet, it was both school. I believe the first proposal initially was just for the churches, and then which I was a little surprised to see it, but they went ahead and took the educational institutions out too.
And it's not specific to a zone?
It was an overall restriction, so.
Yeah, that's great.
Actually, it was a restriction, it didn't matter commercial or wherever, 750 feet was the measurement.
Okay,
So-
all right.
That's great.
All right, anything else tonight from either end of the table or in the stands? All right, thanks. We're adjourned. Have a good evening.